Mic check, 1, 2, 3.
I am pleased to call this business meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee to order, and I thank everyone for joining us, Senator Capito and me today for the first EPW Committee meeting of the 118th Congress. We have one person who's missing in action this morning is Mary Frances Repko, and she is now working, I think, over in the administration, but someone who's been very much a part for over like a quarter of a century as a key player in the House of Representatives, and where Steny Hoyer worked for her for 10 years. And you think I'm kidding. Just ask him. And but she's gone on. I won't say to bigger and better things, but she'll be a good partner with all of us. She's been succeeded by Courtney Taylor, who's sitting right behind me over my left shoulder. If you haven't had a chance to meet her, I think you're going to like her a lot. And she's settling in, and she and Adam already started working together, which is sort of the key to our success. But before we get, I want to begin by welcoming several of our newest members of our committee. Okay, it says we have 10, so we can begin to vote anytime. Thank you. Newest members of our committee, Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania. I don't see John, although I saw him earlier today. And Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma, Pete Ricketts and of Nebraska. And I hope I'm not missing anybody else, but welcome aboard. I was pleased to have a chance to meet with some of our new Republican colleagues yesterday. And today we're going to vote on a couple of items: the committee's funding resolution and the rules that govern our committee's conduct. Senator Capito and I have agreed to begin voting as soon as we have established a quorum, and I understand we have established a quorum of 10 people. At that time, we'll hit the pause button with respect to our members' statements and proceed straight to the items on our agenda. After our voting concludes, I'll happily recognize any additional members who may wish to speak. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this statement. It's not very long. Before we do, I want to take a moment to reflect on this committee's incredible accomplishments from the last Congress, most of them bipartisan, and express my hopes for building on that work this Congress with Senator Capito and colleagues on both sides of the aisle. The 117th Congress was an extraordinarily productive session for the Congress as a whole, and especially for our committee. In 2021, we rolled up our sleeves, we got to work early on, and we never stopped. We unanimously advanced 2 pieces of bipartisan infrastructure legislation out of our committee: our drinking water and wastewater legislation, and our service transportation and highway legislation, which included the first ever climate title. Our bipartisan success with both bills became the foundation of the historic bipartisan infrastructure law that became law in November of 2021. And we were able to build on this success by passing the Inflation Reduction Act, the most significant investment to combat climate change in our nation's history. In our committee's title alone, we invested more than $40 billion in reducing climate pollution and advancing environmental justice. This historic law is, and I think this is an important point, it's an important point to keep in mind. We create, with that legislation, literally millions of good-paying jobs from coast to coast, and we'll be helping to build a stronger and, I think, cleaner economy. We didn't stop there. In December of 2022, just about 2 months ago, we continued our committee's triumphant streak of passing the Water Resources and Development Act, WRDA, on time and with bipartisan support, the reauthorization of the Army Corps of Engineers. It was the 5th time that we've done that, 5th, I think, consecutive 2 years that we've done that. This law is going to deliver on critical water resources projects from Delaware to California and across our nation, from Nebraska to New Orleans and every place in between. All 50 states participated in it. We got great input from everybody, and we're delighted to have gotten such strong support from our colleagues and from the administration. As we begin this Congress, is more important than ever to continue working on a bipartisan basis to tackle some of the challenges facing the American people. I know that I have the great partner, maybe the best partner of any committee chair in the Senate, and Senator Capito and her staff, led by Adam, critical to many of our successes and of our committee in the last Congress. And I'm confident that together we'll continue to do great things, important things for all of our states, to protect our environment, to invest in our infrastructure, and create a nurturing environment for job creation. I believe this work includes watching over and helping guide the Biden administration as they work to implement the historic laws that we've passed in the last Congress. It includes taking action to address toxic chemicals like PFAS and that harm human health. It includes reauthorizing important programs that foster economic growth, like the Economic Development Administration and Brownsfield programs. And it includes improving our recycling systems, just to name a few. I look forward to working closely with Senator Capito, our subcommittee chairs, ranking members, and all the members of this committee to carry on its best traditions of bipartisanship and hard work in the 118th Congress. And with that all being said, I want to recognize our ranking member, Senator Capito, and again, to thank her for being just a terrific partner as we've done all these things together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to take just a brief moment, but I thank you for years past and this coming session as well. Always look forward to working with you, and welcome to Courtney as well to the committee. We notched many wins last year, as you talked about. Since our last meeting, the Water Resources Development Act of 2022 was signed into law as part of the 2023 National Defense Authorization Act. So this is critical support for all of our states, certainly in West Virginia, for flood control and prevention, improve and expand drinking water, wastewater and stormwater projects, and identify future opportunities for additional economic development. Passage of WRDA on a 2-year schedule ensures timely progress on projects that enable our nation's commerce and restore our water resources and protect our communities. Last Congress, as you mentioned, the committee also developed the backbone of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, including the 5-year Surface transportation reauthorization legislation, as well as strong drinking and wastewater infrastructure legislation. I think we're starting to see the results of that in a lot of our states. These successes will be hard to top, but I know we're going to try. As we start the new Congress, I would like to join you in welcoming our new members. On our Republican side, we are excited to have Senator Mullen and Senator Ricketts on EPW. Then Congressman Mullen and I served together as members of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, so it's nice to be reunited. And welcome, Senator Ricketts. I facetiously say you're joining that exclusive club of the former governors club that are now senators, but I know how passionate you are about agriculture, and I look forward.
Would you yield for a moment? I call it the Recovering Governors Club.
I call it something else, but I couldn't say it in public.
Senator Capito, as you know, the daughter of a former governor of West Virginia, but I start way too many sentences with these words. When I was governor of Delaware, so people have heard it more than they want to.
Anyway, welcome, and we know that you have a passion for agriculture, and I look forward to working with you on issues such as oversight of waters of the U.S. definition and other things. On the Democrat side, we certainly welcome Senator Fetterman, and I look forward to getting to know him. Our first order of business is to organize. Last Congress, the committee adopted special rules to reflect the 50-50 equally divided Senate consisted with past precedent from 2001. As Chairman Carper and I agreed at that time, we now support returning to the committee's rules that have governed when one party had an outright majority. The committee will therefore vote to adopt a modernized version of these rules that were last applied in the 116th Congress. I support adoption of these rules, as well as the proposed committee budget that we are considering today. Once we are organized, our work will begin in earnest to develop legislation in areas that are ripe for bipartisan attention, including advanced nuclear legislation, brownfields reauthorization, and economic development legislation, just to name a few. And of course, the Congress will work to keep word on the 2-year time frame this committee has followed. I will continue to scrutinize, as the ranking member, the administration's agenda and actions, and conduct robust oversight. The Biden administration has announced plans to move forward with many regulations that will create regulatory uncertainty, slow development of critical projects, and add costs. So we will be scrutinizing those as we move to the next session. I look forward to it.
Thank you, Senator Capito. I see a quorum has been reached. We welcome everyone, one and all. And I move now to approve our committee's budget resolution and our committee's rules en bloc. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you for a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. In the opinion of the chair, we've approved the committee budget resolution, which will be reported favorably to the Senate, as well as our committee's rules. The voting portion of our meeting is concluded. I'm now happy to recognize any member of our committee who'd like to make a statement on the committee resolutions we just approved, or other matters if you'd prefer. So with that, just raise your hand and we'll recognize you. Anybody at all? All right. Ben, did you have it?
Mr. Chairman, we're also excited to be back together again. Yeah. How do we do an encore from what we got done in the last Congress?
Boy, I don't know. If I live to be 100, I tell people back in Delaware, if I live to be 100, I don't know how we're going to do a better job of getting stuff done than we did the last Congress. It's just a terrific 2 years. But we'll try. Everybody here had a role in that. Anybody else with a statement or comment? With that, not? Okay. Well, I'll see you guys and gals on the floor. Thank you all for being. Thank you, Senator Capito.
Thank you, Mr.
We're
Chairman.
adjourned.